yo, check this out, you know what I'm saying? It's DJ Evil Dee representing Black Moon, representing Beat Miners Radio. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of things going on. I'm a Rocksteady crew member. I'm all over the place, you know what I'm saying? But right now, we kicking it from the desk of Low. Word up. Cold crushing it. That's right.
And with that.
Okay. Welcome back from the desk of Low. I can't believe I have this person on the phone with me because I've listened to this guy since I've gotten hip hop. It's pretty much a legend on the phone. I have with me Buckshot on the phone.
Underrated, you already know it. Underrated, underused, baby. What's going on, man?
What's going on, BDI Thug? I can't believe I'm talking to you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the black, I'm here representing the Black Moon. You know what I'm saying? We got the new album coming out. And it's funny, every time I think about the definition of Black Moon, you know, something that's very powerful, but yet very rarely seen. So I get a chance to move off that in the music in the industry as well. So a lot of people don't see me that much, you know.
I seen you're just coming off the 25th anniversary to enter the stage.
That's exactly why, you know, we surfaced, you know, but you know, it's like a lot of people didn't know why Black Moon don't release albums saturately, you know, and that's kind of like one of the things that keep us, you know, our essence pure is the fact that we follow our tradition, which is, you know, rotate when it's time to rotate.
So when you celebrate like a 25th anniversary, because that album is I'm 27, so that album came out I was only 2 years old. So I'm just wondering, how was the promotion game back in 1993, sir, compared to now?
I mean, it was pretty different. We started with you know, we had guys out there with posters, and we was real, you know, how do you say, hands-on with what we did on a promotion level, but it was real small. You know, it was small relative to what things are today. So if a person went platinum, which is like 1 million copies back then, it was like the world came down. You know what I'm saying? Which was cool, but today we got like, you have the ability to do, you know, 10 million, 5 million. I mean, the sky's the limit now. You know what I'm saying? You have the ability to do numbers that's beyond, you know, because people are just going to like it and they're going to participate the way you ask them to participate as much as they can. You know, so it's a difference.
So, I seen that you started a podcast last year, but I could only find one episode of it. It's called Build Your Own Brand. Do you remember that podcast, sir?
Yeah, of course. We still got Build Your Own Brand. What happened was, you know, I had to fall back because I was, for a minute, it was almost like I was needed as a hands-on general in so many different things, in so many different areas, right? And in order to make what I do successful, I always say the revolution will not be televised, right? So when I was working with Tupac and working with, I mean, you name it. Anytime I start getting into mentioning names, it gets crazy because I don't know who I didn't work with, but a lot of people I did. The revolution was never televised. It was never something put on the map in front of people and made a big deal. Because it's not about that, right? Sometimes if you're teaching somebody, the best way to teach them is on the low, you know, on their own time, you know, kind of like this mystic, you know, shaman training for some, and for some people, this simply is like training a boxer. You don't want to be out there having television cameras and pictures and everything in your ring while you sparring. And some people don't mind. So I work with everybody throughout the year. And this is a time for me personally. You know what I mean? Like, I've helped everybody out. And some of it is what I do for a business. You know, we was in charge of that in charge of the Young MA record, the project. Now, a lot of people don't know that, but Duck Down, is behind that. And, you got to give your full attention and energy. Shout out to Drew Ha, my partner.
Shout out to Drew.
That's my partner in crime. That's the left to my right. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Macaroni and yeah, man. That's one of our things, that the public doesn't need to know everything that we do when we help or whenever we support, somebody or consult. We do a lot of consulting. We consulted Joey as well, and on his first project and runs. So.
Yeah, because with that episode, like, I listened to that episode about like 50 times, because like that, when you said you gave advice to damn near everybody in the game, and when you said that it doesn't have to be for the public eye, that's very true, because not everybody needs to see your next move. So I'm just wondering too, like, you're very big on branding too, and I'm wondering, can you get into the importance of trade marketing and copywriting?
I struggle with myself every day, and I think that's probably one of my biggest struggles. And I hope somebody one day focuses and makes that the issue of the interview, the focus of whatever we're talking about.
Yes.
I've yet to have that. I've yet to have picture, if you will, a photo, right? And on the left side you have Buckshot, the rapper, and on the right side you have Business Bro. And they are exactly mirror images of each other. The same thing that one puts in the other substitutes of the other. They both are 50%. No one is 60, 40, none of that. So much to the point where they go at each other in so many different ways. Some are very good, sometimes they're very bad. And I've never been able to just sit down and say, this is the reason why a lot of things went left when y'all thought it would have went right, and then vice versa, as far as, Buckshot's career, right? Buckshot has, built Duck Down with his partner, and some people would have just done that. They would have never been an MC, an artist, whatever. Some people would have just did that. And then you have the vice versa. Some people would have just been an artist, and they would have never done the other thing. And now, here's where we have to separate this, because everybody has an independent label. Everybody has their own company. Everybody does that. Everybody has their own thing. And we was doing this since 95, whatever. All right, that doesn't matter. Jay-Z said something very important. Everybody's a boss until it's time to pay for it all. All right. Ask the people that had their big companies when they were hot on the radio, because that's usually when you get your little compliment. Ask them where they're at 5 years, 10 years after they were hot on the radio. Now, the people who are, and then the people who, like, where did most of the artists go? Right? Where did their companies go? Where did they this go? Those are the things that are very important. It's about looking at duckdown.com, and you look at artists to affiliates, and you're like, I never even fucking knew Tyler Qualley was rolling with Duck Down. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter about his first album, the second album. It don't matter. It matters about right now and tomorrow. I didn't know that Qualley was with Duck Down. I didn't know Be Real from Type Bill was with Duck Down. I didn't know Young and May was with Duck Down. I didn't know, you know what I'm saying, Joe? I didn't know Static Selector. All these people is through Duck Down today. And that's because we're one of the last surviving labels that actually know the whole machine, not just some, not just sit in front of a laptop and promote till your fingers hurt. That's not it. The whole machine is about knowing how to cook. And not every guy knows how to cook.
It's very true. It's very true. Because you guys, when you say like is the last surviving label, that's very true because like you guys seen the ins and outs, but like you guys also know what works and what doesn't.
Exactly. And then when somebody says, well, give me an album, and we say, all right, if you look at the last project, that she did 4 million, right, on the streams and things like and streams and downloads.
Yeah.
Right? Back in the time when that would have been like incredibly incredible. We would have defied things because we did it on a single and not an album. So but today things are different. So now the single can do that, and now people want the album. The album could do that and even do more. But we did that just to show and prove what we could do. Do you understand? But the ultimate fate of the artist is in their hands. You understand? The ultimate fate of the artist is in your hands. I can't make you wake up. I can't make you go to the studio. I can't do none of that. But when you give me a project, I can show you what to do with that. And especially if the project is what it needs to be, which is dope. So that's one thing that Duck Down says, oh, you want me to show you? Or you want me to show you again? You know what I'm saying? To work with DJ Vashti, one of the dope. We support females hard in the industry, and nobody even knows it. We're like one of the only, really founded company, labels, whatever, that support female. I don't know what to call it, but it's like I pick up my ladies. Got nothing to do with my dudes, my males. They're really solid. Males always think about things, so we good. But when it comes to this, and it's not really because I got 3 daughters that I'm really, you know what I'm saying, in that zone of saying no, because my second daughter, she is naughty. She goes very, very hard when it comes to music and it comes to acting. So I want her to have that lane of feeling good, of knowing, my dad really opened up that lane of supporting, entertainment and things of that nature for females. He broke the mold. Females was doing it, but he brought them in. I'm working with 2 new female artists right now, Taya J and another artist named Paris LaDawn. You know what I'm saying? The last one was Young M.A. The DJ Vashti is a female DJ that people need to know more about, and I'm going to really go hard on bringing her out when I come outside. You know what I'm saying? DJ Vashti, the most people know about her is when Drake mentioned her in his record when he was like, I used to chill with DJ, up in Santos. She was a DJ killing in Santos. You know what I'm saying? The Club Santos.
So with all like the information that you give throughout the female artists too, because like I believe like you give a lot of advice out there to the youth and everybody out there in the industry. Have you ever thought about writing a book, Mr. Blake?
I've thought about it a lot, and I think one of my best ways of doing that is to sit down and have somebody write everything that I say, and we formulate it that way. Because other than that, it's probably going to be stagnating to happen. And then, I respect the fact that you call me late, man. That's a big thing for me because, once again, you're giving respect to the business side of me. And like I told you, that's really, that's like an MC to me. And a lot of people aren't in that position. They do it because they have to. They don't do it because they love to. When I get on that stage, I'm a whole other animal. And when I get in that boardroom, I'm no different than being on that stage. I'm a whole other monster. So and a lot of people, they just don't know that. So when they hear like, Mr. Blake, it's like right away, I feel like hearing Buckshot for the first time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And again, I think it's because, like, some of my most like things that, like I said, people don't know about, and I think it's because the minutes that I do have when it comes to interviews or time to people, normally it's Buckshot dominant. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, people don't know that I've accomplished a lot of things that even to myself, I'll be going, oh, wow. Like, now those are the things that Business Buck is excited about. Like, I surpassed, now this is not about money.
No, sir.
But I've surpassed the millionaire to the 100 millionaire, multi-millionaire, rappers like that. I've surpassed them, not in the sense of money. What I mean is my circle of friends. I used to say, yo, they gonna call me Billionaire Buck one day. Watch, tell me, they gonna call me Billionaire Buck. And I would always be like, man, $1 million ain't shit to me. And it's not because I've been around it or had it or nothing. It's just the fact that that's my mentality. You understand? And somehow, some way, I wound up going past millionaires and multimillionaires. And for some reason, pardon me, it's my voice, but I went past that, got to, and I became entrenched. I became entrenched in billionaires, right? Just put it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My circle of friends became billionaires. What I mean by that, also, all right. So the owner of Fubu, one of the partners and the main owner, his name is Bruce Weisfeld, right?
Yes, sir.
He hold on, sorry, let me get this quick, right? His name is Bruce Weisfeld, right? And he's his brother Norman Weisfeld. Him and his brothers, they call the W brothers, right? They own like, I don't even know, like half of the West Side Highway in Manhattan. They do real estate, but they also own Fubu. They own Etonic. They own a few other brands, right? Back in the days, I mean, these guys were dudes. And anyhow, those are the ones that are, you know, the higher partners for Damon John and stuff like that, right? So those are the higher partners for Damon John and things of that nature, right? So now I went from being around them to, you know, being around a couple of other partners that they roll with. And these guys are billionaires as well. You know, they own the Levi shoe brand, and I mean, this, you know, they own mad brand. And then he introduced me to my boy Benjamin, our Benjamin, who, you know, owns. He was one of the partners in Metro PCS. He left. He's opened up his own mobile company, and he brought me into the mobile game. Right. So my point is, you know, when you start thinking about whatever you want in life or whatever you really, really want to do, and you make that what you think, eat, breathe, talk, shit, move, whatever, it will start to come to you. No question about it, no question about it. So for me, you know, to have these circle of friends, you know, around me, and they're going, wow, you know what I'm saying? We love the fact that you even got into this position, you know, just through ambition. You know, right now I'm working with my partner Ron Jefferson. He's the senior vice president of Finish Line, right? Mm-hmm. We always talk about how, you know, we came from the bottom and fought, you know, our way to the top. Like he's you know, straight from the bottom right now of his shit, you know, and he's running a $42 billion company, you know, this and third program. our whole thing is in life, it don't matter what you are, where you come from. You know, if you're at the bottom, meaning you didn't come with a silver spoon of $42 billion in your mouth. You work hard to get there. You know what I'm saying? But that's the whole point. And now, you know, I'm working with him with his artists. That's who introduced me to the two females. And right away, they you know, talent when it's seen, you know, will impact the world.
Well, from what you're doing right now, like you've been impacting the world since '93 and probably even before '93.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, around that time, you know, I was always a tiger, you know, a lion. I'm always going at it, and this is the year, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, this is the year that people get a chance to actually feel and see some of the things that I'm dealing with, because I'm like the Mayweather. I always say, like, I'm like Mayweather of music and shit. But this is the year I gotta shine and let you see the light from the start. You know what I'm saying? Because it's people would never believe these things. They would never believe them. Right now, I'm partnering up with Silk for the mobile company that I got, and we're partners with Verizon. But that's on a low. I won't tell anybody. I'm not even allowed to tell anybody that. But when people go into like the top of the year,
yeah,
you know, when people go into Verizon and they experience this new situation, Verizon is just like, well, we just think that it's a new great situation. You know, we knew, but we wasn't totally conscious of what would come with this brand. You know, we gotta, you know what I'm saying? And we were influenced to do it because we know how the market is moving. You know, and case in point, Spectrum Mobile went from they popped out of nowhere and dominated the market, like Boost, this one, that. They moved a lot of people to the side to the point where Metro PCS and T-Mobile had to team up.
So, like, what made you see, like, you know, the mobile games really booming right now?
I was in mobile for about I've been in mobile for about 6 years now.
Oh, so this is not new to you?
At all. This is what I mean. I'm going to show people. I started off with Albert Benjamin, the guy. That was one of the reasons. The guy Bruce, who owns Fubu, me and him is really, really good friends, right? Like, cool, like, weekend type shit. So one day he called me and he said, "Buck, do you still have Go Baller up and running?" I said, "Yeah." I said, we're having a little, you know, the back end, we still need, you know, the money to maintain the back end. I said, but everything on the front end is pretty much done. So he said, "I want you to meet me down at the office because I want to white label that app for a new mobile company we got coming out." So, you know, I was like, all right, no problem. I don't care. Like, you know, let's work. Work is work. Went down and then it started basically the mission there to have them white label our app for his phone. And the reason, you know, why that happened is because we have, you know, this app called Go Baller, and one of our partners who gave us the money to do the first round is his name is Dan Gilbert. He's one of the he was one of the main owners of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he's still over there. He has something called Quicken Loans now. He's had that for a while. So He's one of our partners in Go Baller. He has 8% of our company, and Bruce was excited about preparing up with him by proxy, if you will.
So, when you say to the Go Baller brand too, because in the interview you said we're starting off I don't think you were talking about Go Baller, but you were talking about a brand. You were saying you start off real small and then you start expanding and then you start seeing growth in delivery by spreading the word and watching it multiply. Was that the same mentality that you went into when you started Go Baller?
Yo, man, I'm an animal, and to be honest with you, I went into Go Baller with a lot of strategies and tactics, but my partner Chris Dell, he's actually the one who created Go Baller. What happened was Chris Dell used to write for the New York Times, and it was something that was an event that happened. And he was, just like this. He was a writer. We did an interview, and he was telling me a lot of things that he wanted to do, and I was teaching him how to do those. And he eventually came back and he said, "Yo, man, I want to know if you wanted to be a part of this company, because if it wasn't for you, I would have never done it." And he said, "I started this company called Go Baller. One of our partners is Dan Gilbert." And, he explained to me the whole process, and I was like, it's a sports social media app, pretty much dedicated to sports on a social media level. And I was like, yo, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And I became one of the partners, and with that, I just brought a storm of shit, over there. And Go Baller is still alive. It just, it just went into hibernation because the mobile situation became big, and this year we coming out of hibernation because the sports, everything just got so big with Chris Dell that I was able to come over on this side and say, all right, well, you know what? We was working with Fubu Mobile, but I think it's better that we, create our own mobile situation so we can work seamlessly. And that's pretty much what we focused on the past 6 years. And now we're working, with Silk. Silk is in, one of our partners is Silk Mobile. Silk is like the first Kenyan smartphone. Like one of the only, it's like the biggest smartphone system in Kenya right now.
Okay.
So if you go to Kenya, you're using Silk Mobile is like using T-Mobile like that, because there's a company called Safaricom, and they're like the biggest.
So, ever since Prodigy's passing too, I realized that we have to acknowledge our greats while they're still here. You started legendary groups like Black Moon, Boot Camp Clip, Helter Skelter, OGC. I'm just wondering, because I'm born in 91, and what's your views when you see the youth disrespecting the OG the veterans? Because I don't know when that ever became cool, and I don't know will that ever become not cool?
Unfortunately, it's a phenomenon that elevated, escalated, and evolved. But it was always there.
Really?
It really was. I hate to disappoint you, but like I just said, it escalated, it elevated, and evolved. But it's always there because it has to be. You understand? It has to be. There's always going to be a large percentage that will always respect the OGs, like how I did. But there were people in my era that didn't give a fuck about the OGs. They just didn't care. They wasn't there. They didn't even care about anything past their first 5 feet. But they definitely didn't care about respecting the OGs a lot of them, because they weren't musicians. So primarily musicians and first-tier fans of them are the ones who do. And it wasn't as bad as it is now.
Yeah.
But it's only not bad because hip-hop dominated the world. And R&B has become R&B hip-hop. So they dominate. So every form, in fact, we don't even have jazz.
That's true.
We don't even, and the reason why is because jazz is not, we have everything that we've had. It's just not given to us anymore. We have to go get it. There was a point in time when the food was brought to you. Now you have to eat the buffet. Everything is a buffet of life. There is no more food to dinner order. It's just a menu, person bring it out. It's just not how it is. Because we've gotten so big. We're spreading out. So that's just how it is. And true, you know, like, you know, I met my man yesterday and his daughter. He's trying to, this is Buckshot. You don't understand. He's a legend and that. And I'm quiet. She's looking at me like I'm crazy, looking at him like he's crazy. She's 18 and smiling. She's laughing. She's going, ha, ha, ha. And she's going, Dad, what do you want to eat? The jerk chicken or the la, la, la? She's paying him no attention. You know what I'm saying? But if I was Tekashi 6ix9ine or somebody, she'd have lost her mind. And it's because it's the way it's supposed to be. It's not about the music and her being able to respect the music. She can respect the music, but I'm an older person. What the hell? If that 18-year-old girl was to talk to me as a 43-year-old man, if she was to talk to me, that would be all hell's on break loose. Like, it would be hell's on wheel. You ain't supposed to be talking to a man that old, unless it's your parents, somebody raised you, whatever. So why are you encouraging your daughter to scream over Buckshot, and it's damn near like you're screaming more than she is? Like, why would you, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a cycle of life. That's why. She's supposed to have a young guy, a young artist that she's screaming over, da-da-da-da. That's the way it's supposed to be, because it's always been that way. If you look at the history of music, from Sammy Davis, Temptations, Marilyn Monroe, Bob Marley, everybody had their career in their young ages. Every single, there's been one artist that didn't have their career in the young ages. You name them, you name them. Temptations, I don't care. You name them.
You know, I never thought of it like that before, so I think, like, I am gonna go back and, like, just see that, because, like, that's a very good answer. I never thought of that before.
Well, what's happening is, the reason why is because we, as the older, we caught the brick. Remember, our parents used to listen to older music, and we would listen to what they would listen to. That's why the respect is there. Now, when our kids listen to music we listening to, it's like, what are we listening to? Believe it or not, we bugging. Because we can't we can't be sitting around cleaning up the house playing throw your guns in the air, buck, like you just don't hear. We can't do that. But back in our parents' time, we was able to listen to Joy and Pain and all these other records. So that's the thing you're missing.
So, this is like a thing that I argue about with like people my age too, because they don't see, because I do my research, they don't really do their research. Would you say Smith and Wesson started the Hoodie and Timbs movement? Because I rather hear it from the person's mouth who created that group rather than just go off the internet, sir.
Yeah. So wait, are you asking me, did we?
Yes.
I would say hell yeah. Because when you listen to Who Got the Props, when I said baggy black jeans, knapsack, and my beeper, $100 sneakers, you could clearly see that I was going more in the route of the average rap flop shit. Meaning I'm just gonna express how we was doing shit around my way and how we lived, and that was my personal lifestyle, right? I was on some polo guest, you know, you can even hear when I say guest and low from people toe, letting you know. I was that dude. And when I met, you know, Smith and Wesson, my whole life changed. Because they were the ones that came with the hoodie, with the Timberland boots. I never was really into Timbs until I started fucking with steel. You know what I'm saying? When we were, you know, in our younger ages and shit, I wasn't really Timbs. I rocked them, but it wasn't a lifestyle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tech and steel, Smith and Wesson is who made Tim boots a lifestyle. That's who started it. That's who needed credit. It ain't me because I came out first. It's Smith and Wesson. When I saw them, I was so impressed, and it just changed my life. I was like, yo, I never want to go back to the regular shit.
And see, like, that's a lot of thing what people don't realize, because every time I see Hoodie and Timbs, I think of The Shine, and I'm like, that's Smith and Wesson.
Yeah. You know, they brought the whole, when they brought that energy, I came and multiplied it, and then we became Boot Camp Click, and it was a wrap. It was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? And the story unfolds. You know what I mean? Like, Tech and Steel used to rock was rolling with Steel. You know, Ruck was around the way. They would roll with each other here and there, but, you know, Ruck was doing his thing. Rock was doing his thing. You know? And we brought them together.
Rest in peace to Ruck, by the way. Sean Price, a legend.
Yep, you know what I mean? R.I.P. My nigga up there doing his thing. I mean, it's, you know, it's like time will fly, and regardless of what, you ain't gonna live to 1,000. So I tell people, you know, live and put it down. While you're here, put it down. Do your interview, become an artist, don't become an artist, do your business, live life. Put it down. Because this is way past whatever you doing right now. Strictly because you ain't gonna be here for 1,000 years. I don't care who you are. Even if you got a machine heart, that shit gonna damn near run out like every other phone. Do what you need to do now. Put it down.
See, and then I think that was the answer I was going to ask you for this upcoming question, so you don't even have to answer, but I'd just like to tell you what it was. I was like, you gave advice from damn near everyone, from Jay-Z, Biggie, Tupac, and I was going to ask, what advice can you give like a 27-year-old, but you literally just answered that question like you were in my head.
Word. That's real. And I'm happy to be here for the 18. I'm happy to be here for real for the young. And I'm going to tell you something. That has been my biggest passion. One of the things, because I was that dude. I was that kid. I remember what it was like to look at magazines and wish. I remember what it was like to read Right On and Word Up and see, you know, and be like, yo, one day. So for it to actually happen, and I can remember the people that made it happen and brought me there closer, that didn't really even know, but they each one, I said, you know what, I'm going to embody all of them as one person. And anybody who needs that door opening, I'm going to open that door. I'm going to keep opening it and keep opening it and keep opening it and keep opening it, because there's no reason for that shit to be closed on anybody who has the ability. There's no reason at all. You can't name one. Right? So at the end of the day, that's really, and that's the reason why people used to call me, if you look at who got the props, I got backpacks on. Then we went into the whole, everybody wanted to be commercial rap. Everybody wanted to be gangster rap. Everybody wanted to be this, that. So my persona just embodied backpack rap, if you call it. I didn't even know that shit was being formulated around the fact that me and my crew love Tim's, hoodies, backpacks, and shit like that. So when people told me backpack rap is something that we see you as, I wasn't mad because I said, you know what? It really does embody a lot of the character that I deal with, but it also gives me a way to keep bringing out the little dude and giving him a shot. Right? So, like, maybe 15 years ago, I started making backpacks, but I never bought them out. I only did it for me.
The duck down backpacks?
Yeah, I never did backpacks for the public up until right now. They're about to be released. I've never. If you look at a lot of pictures that I have, you can see. If you look at a lot of interviews, like me,
I do.
Yeah, so me with backpacks is not new, but me creating the buck bag. You know what I'm saying? The actual buck bag is new. Because I used to tease my little, kids. I used to be like, not the book. I'm going to give you not a book bag. I'm going to give you a buck bag. And I used to joke. And then recently I said, well, you know what? I'm going to take it serious, right? Because even back then, I used to say, I want to make a book bag that can charge a device and da-da-da. So I said, you know what? I recently did it. And I bought the original design out, the figure, the 8 and everything. I bought the design back, and I bought the charge back. And now, it's easier now because I could do it with a USB. So I bought the charge bag, and then also the bag, comes with the speakers, right? But not the speakers inside. It's like the Beats Pill speakers, but it's its own style. You trust me, you'll see it. It's gonna blow your mind.
So, I won't take up much of your time, Mr. Blake. I have a question that I ask all of my guests, and I feel like you'll probably give the best answer. Do you have any words for someone in a dark place trying to see the light?
As far as what do you think?
Like with mental health and depression.
That's a real. You mean as far as how does it affect them? Because that's an ill question.
Yes, like how like if somebody came up to you and said like, listen, they're just like, I'm in a dark place with like people leaving my life and all that stuff, and I'm trying to do the right thing in life, but it doesn't seem to work. What advice would you give them?
I would say it's not that it don't work. It's like, let's get away from who does it work for, and let's figure out what works for you, and let's get you out the crib. It's that simple. Because 95% of the things that you do is only responsive. It's not something that you do yourself. Let's take the 5% of what you do and make it what you do, and then 95%, let's keep that away. And now let's make sure that we put the opposite. Here's what I mean by that. 95% of the things you do, from the word listen, hear, jump, water, ride, pay, hide, sleep, every single word you hear is only something that was put on your plate to respond to. If I say hi and you don't say hi back, that's not a good response. If I say I'm hungry and you don't say what you want to eat, that's not a good response. Why is it not a good response? It's because you expect to get notes. Let's get rid of expectation. Throw that shit in the water. And I'm going to show you how you're going to go from a dark place to a light place. Because when some place is dark, it's only because you can't what? If a place is dark, I'm gonna show you how I used to deal, or how I usually deal with us. If a place is dark, that means you can't what?
You can't see.
Right. And I like, when I do things, I ask questions because I like for the people to answer it and go, oh shit, I had to answer the whole damn time. It was in my back pocket. So if you're in a dark place in your life, that means you can't see. But how could you see in a place that don't have eyes? Your mind doesn't have eyes. So how could you not see or see in a place that don't have eyes? All right then. If that means that things are cloudy, something is in your way, things are in your way. It's that simple. So if you're in a dark place, that means you can't see. You can't see what? What are you looking for? All right? So let me show you how you can get that without looking for it, because if you look for it, you can't see it because you don't look for something in a place without no eyeball. That's the problem right there. So you keep going to this person and you look, you go to that place, you look, you go to this spot, you look. But it don't matter where you look, you ain't going to find it. Right? No matter how hard I try, I will not be able to look in your left hemisphere or your right hemisphere and see what you did think or about to think, because at the end of the day, you can change your thoughts no matter what you try to do. I don't care. You can say, well, they got machines now that can do. No, they don't, because even if the machine could track your waves, you can change it at any time. So at the end of the day, like, the practicality is all you need to do is see. And see what? See what direction you want to go in. That means that all you need to do is think. Thinking is one of the best forms of therapy out there, period. Because when you think, you're the person that come up with the question, and then right?
Yes. So when you say, like, when you think is the best form of therapy, do you think overthinking kind of like helps, or it doesn't help?
Overthinking. Here's how overthinking works, right? You got a certain amount of time and space in your brain, unfortunately, where yes, you could bring to you have. Your brain works like this: think, get it out. Think, get it out. If you think, but you can't get it out, which is another reason why, if you speak to me, you're getting it out. That's why it feels good, because you're going with the flow. You're thinking something, you get it out. You're thinking something, you get it out. That means you have more time to do what? To think. So that could be a form of something that could be frustrating, because when you think, you're like, you know what? I can't get it out.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why it's not a problem. You know, but like I said, social media today, depending on where, what, how, where, whatever you do your angle, whatever, it could be another good form of therapy. The bottom line is you have to. It's like the way you exercise your body is the way you exercise your mind. So to exercise your mind means, unfortunately, you have to get rid of. You get rid of fat on your body. You have to get rid of certain thoughts in your mind. What are those certain thoughts? Certain thoughts is just stop believing that you can't. And that's going to help you out. That's all. Just don't, that one thought of getting rid of the fact that I can't will help you out. Yes, I can think. Yes, I can overthink. Yes, I can underthink. I can think of the right thing. I can think of the wrong thing. I can think of none of those things. Right? And then you say, well, what the hell am I doing when I start living like that? You're like a person on a train that no matter what you do, you're still going to go forward. I don't care if you go to the bathroom, you're frustrated, tap your feet, go to sleep, talk to a person on your left, your right. It don't matter. You're going forward. So you can do all those things, and at some time, sit back, relax, and wake up and do it, whatever you want to do again. Because like I said, you're going to look out the window, and that train's still going to be going forward.
Man, with that, man, trains going forward. Man, I usually put other people onto advice, but I'm gonna take some of that advice too and run with it, though. But I think that's the perfect way to end this episode. Do you have any last words, Buckshot?
Let me see. Like, shit. It's like I'm not. No, I'm actually. My last word to people is, if you need any advice on anything, come to Buckshot. That's really it. I've learned to sum it all up in that, for real. Because I for the last 10 years ago, I might have said, if you need any advice in the music industry, come to Buckshot, or, what I'm saying, just visit me, check me out, support Official Buckshot. OfficialBuckshot.com is the platform that I've created for everybody and anybody to have a way in or a way out. But I would leave it like that. Support OfficialBuckshot.com.
Make sure you do, because, like I said, this is a real legend on the phone right here. Not no phony, just came out last year legend, like 1993 legend, like Tupac legend, like I don't know what to say, man. I appreciate you, Buckshot.
Oh man, I appreciate you too, big brother, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for appearing on the show, man, and I'll keep in touch though, and I'll let you know when this airs, sir.
Yes, sir. Keep in touch, baby.
Have a good one, Buck.
All right, baby. You too.
Peace.
Back from the desk of low, I have with me one of the very important groups of hip hop, if not the most important group of hip hop. I ain't even gonna front on this one too. They have a song called "Stay Real," and let me tell y'all, they really do live their lyrics. I have 5FT and Black Moon Buckshot on the phone. How you doing, FT?
Live action. What's up, y'all? What's good, people?
Oh, how you doing today, 5FT?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Feeling great today.
One of the things I always wanted to ask you, 5FT, your Militant Minds establishment, sir, is that still going around?
Repeat that question again?
Your Militant Minds, is that still your establishment, sir?
Yes, that is. That's still definitely my establishment. Definitely.
I was wondering on how that came about, too, because I understand you started that in the early 2000s, sir.
Well, I got the idea pretty based upon what Buck and Tupac had connected doing as far as military minds is concerned. So, still keeping myself a part of BCC and boot camp and representing a different perspective. So I was like, I'm going to use that. And that's where the base of that started from.
5FT, the first time I ever heard of you was on the Casualty of Wars album, because I was born in 91, so when you came out, I was just running around listening to Barney. I wasn't even in tune with hip-hop yet.
Right.
So I was curious, 5FT, just from a younger person's standpoint too, do a lot of people hit you up about Enter the Stage, but do a lot of people hit you up about your other work, like on Total Eclipse or even Warzone?
Yeah, a lot of people always that I get the chance to speak to always speak to me about the work that I put out, and I did with me and Buckshot on those projects. Definitely, they always talk about that.
Does some of those memories from the Warzone studio sessions still resonate with you to this day, 5FT?
Of course. Everything that we've done up to this point on all the projects always resonates with us. That's why we got a new project right now called Rise of the Moon. We just dropped a new single called Creep With Me. So pretty much everything that we've been through in the game, ups and downs, and still to be around and putting it down, pretty much is reflected on the new project. You know what I'm saying?
Did Rise of the Dark Moon used to be titled Dark Side of the Moon, sir? And then you guys changed the title?
That was the beginning, but it was too clear. The timing of the project at the time, and then Star Wars was coming out with the new movie at the time, so it was like the dark side of something. So pretty much we was trying to squeeze in with that timeline, but sometimes things ain't working, don't go accordingly how you want it to go. Sometimes, like for us, it's Black Moon. Luckily, we got the universe on our side. So.
Okay. Yeah, because like you can't rush art. That's what I tell everybody. If you want art to last, like you guys do, you guys always take your time with it, and that's what makes you guys
It's
timeless
not our
artists.
point. It's not so much about us taking our time. Of course, we take the time to put things together, put things in order. But the universe has its way of making things happen when it's supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? You ever try to do something, you try to rush it, and you mess up?
Yeah.
You wasn't supposed to do that. You were supposed to take your time. You know what I'm saying? Patience is a virtue. So even with music and with you in the kitchen cooking, you just gotta pay attention and be on top of everything to the best of your ability in order for it to have the best result at the end of the day. You know.
When you say patience is a virtue too, I truly believe that too, because when you take something and when you start out on your journey too, you can't rush to the end too, because nobody knows where it really ends. For you guys.
Donald Trump said, "Take your time, young man. Don't you rush to get old." You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's just with time itself. Everything with time, you should learn to over time to take your time and be patient. Everything, since we live in a fast-paced society and life is fast-paced, we get caught up in the wind of how life and the wave is moving for everybody to be able to be in contact or connect with each other. You got to be the one sometimes to step to the side. So let me slow down while everybody's speeding. Let me slow down for a minute. Let me get a break on what's going on with me for a minute. So I put myself in the proper perspective.
5FT2, you also have an alias called The Fever too. Do you still keep that alias around too? And what inspired the name The Fever?
Everything is there. I'm 5FT. I'm The Fever. I'm the General 5 Fever. I'm all that. My name is Constantine Reed. I'm all those. I'm all of that. Just the love and the passion for the music, first of all, keeps me able to do what I do up to this point. It's coming from a real authentic and original place and space. You know, since I came into contact with hip hop, I've been in love. So my contribution and to the art form itself and to the culture itself is very grandeur. You know, as far as what I want to do and how far I want to take things.
And with you two having a very extensive history too, and you've been in the game for over 20 years, so you're considered a legend too, sir. I was curious too. Can you take me back to the park jams in NYC when you used to dance with Buck? Because that's a time that can never be replicated in my perspective, though.
We always talk about that all the way to this day. Like in that time. When we first got together and connected and we was dancing, we was exploring ourselves, we was exploring life, the ups and downs and direction of what we wanted to do. Till we finally got in a position where it's, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, and introduce ourselves into the field of music. Dancing was a way of releasing the stress and the aggravation, at the same time cultivating a great feeling, like, expressing yourself when you do dancing is nothing could compare to it. Nothing.
Now, do you still have videotapes of you dancing that you just keep to yourself and your family?
Buck has them somewhere. Yeah, he has them somewhere. Buck has the tapes. He has the tapes too. I think he has some tapes too.
Do you still remember the Snake Man?
The what?
The Snake Man. From
the Snake, like the names. I don't know about. I remember the Snake. I remember the Wob. I remember a lot of many different dances. But
no, sorry, not the dancer. It was somebody in your neighborhood that used to walk around with a big boa constrictor snake on his shoulder. It was in your Behind the Moon documentary, sir.
It probably was. Oh, you're talking about dude from Manhattan, the guy from Manhattan.
Yeah. Do you still remember that?
Yeah. I remember him faintly, but I haven't seen him for quite some time. It's been a long time.
What inspired that little documentary Behind the Moon, 5FT?
I guess wanting people to know what's going on with Black Moon. We've always been a group that's been in demand, and people, you have a strong fan base, and people pretty much just giving people a little extra on what's going on with us. How we work behind the scenes, pretty much. That's why it's called Behind the Moon. And plus, at the time, we was coming out with a new album, which was Toby Glitch at the time. So we figured it was good for marketing, and it was good to give people a little bit more extra than just the music,
Yes, sir. The Total Eclipse album is one of my favorite albums by y'all. I love that song, The Fever and Stay Real.
Good looking.
Can you remember the first time that this first stage that you ever performed on as a rapper, 5FT?
As a sign group?
Yes, sir. No. Yeah, as a side group, yes.
As a sign group, okay. Our first gig as a group was at a club called the Muse in Manhattan. Used to have DJ Funkmaster Flex was the house DJ at the time. So that was an adrenaline rushing experience. Matter of fact, at that time, Biggie and Puff Daddy had opened up for us at that time. Just before they wasn't even known, nobody even know who they were. On our very first show, Puff Daddy and Biggie Smalls opened up for us.
Oh wow, wow! And you guys were the main act too, so that must have felt good to see them flourish.
Yeah, we were the showstopper for the night. Yeah, exactly.
So what? Can you remember what song that y'all ended off with that night?
We did single, which is Who Got the Props.
Okay.
And Act Like You Want It.
And for the younger listeners out there too, that song "Who Got the Props" was probably the first independent record to make a major impact around the world. It took a year or two because records used to live back then too, because there was no internet back then.
Right. So they had to leave. They had to know there was no way to move it around so easy and so swift. So I had to sit around and it got a chance to lay around a little bit longer.
Does it still like kind of like blow your mind that when people release music now that the whole world can get it at once as opposed to like the 90s?
It is, but it's a gift and a curse at the same time, because now when we used to not be able to get it that easy, the quality of the music used to come out a little bit more better than it does today. Now that it's in the speedy process and people can frequently, they don't have to wait, they don't have to they could just play vocals, take it to the mix, take it to the CD, take it to the MP3, take it to the, so it does have its gifts and a curse, but it's a good thing that we're able to still get music the way we do, though. At least we can get that.
Because records back then, because nowadays, like, a record would live on for, like, a week or maybe 3.
Oh, yeah. Who Got the Props live for a whole year?
Yeah.
On the album. So which brought a lot of time and gave us a lot of experience in between time to make the right choice and decision when it came to that,
With that being said, too, did other singles out there, like Who Got the Props too, like, do you still have old vinyls that you just keep near and dear to your heart, sir? Or is that Buck?
I got a couple of pieces. I got a few pieces.
Okay. And when records used to last for like a year or two, when people used to book you guys for shows, I was curious, did you guys just do that one song, or did you guys used to do different cuts of the album that wasn't even out yet that you were just testing out the craft?
In the beginning we didn't know. We had to get used to the formula. We had to get used to a lot of things. So when we only had that, we only performed those songs. And, we doing freestyles and things of that nature. That's when we started bringing out Smith and Wesson to add extra flavor to our show. So we was able to work with it, with our experience that we had prior to getting a deal. As far as having showmanship and being on point on the stage. We was already developing that process, so pretty much we was able to finesse that, in my words, now that you speak on it, because a lot of stuff that we did was a wing-on-wing thing. There was no script, and there was no manager to say, this is what we're going to do. There was nobody to say, this is what you got to say. Y'all here, what y'all going to do? It's showtime, what you going to do? Yeah, take this money, go to the studio, what y'all going to do?
And see, too, like, back then, too, like, a lot of people said that you needed a major to do this, to do that, but you guys broke that barrier and just showed people, like...
We broke that barrier, and it was like, it's a destined barrier because we already came in the game with that mentality. You know what I'm saying? They know it's us or not. Me and Buck was selling instance of oils on Broadway by Tower Records in hopes that we could see execs in industry, people that we could try to get inside the game. So we was already putting our journey was already setting us up to feet in the independent realm. You know what I mean?
And do you?
That's why I was like, it's so ill that we still independent to this day. You know, we had a lot of labels come and try to sign. Def Jam tried to sign. A lot of different labels tried to sign. I remember we sat down with Chris Light and God Left the Dead and Leo Cohen, and they was trying to sign us.
Oh,
you know?
Because they saw
but
something.
Our knowledge of the industry and being in control of your destiny, and not being indebted to the company itself. You know, we was ahead of the game in that area.
Yeah, and Mr. Blake also said too, the reason why Duck Down is so successful is because it's seen the entire machine behind it, and they learned that mentality. It's like if you just learn to stay true and stay real and not give out, you can accomplish what Duck Down did.
Exactly, but at the same time, that's only cut for certain people with certain core. It ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? As you see, like, even with the new artists that's on Duck Down, like Joey Badass and Young Ma affiliated artists.
Oh, wow.
You know, Pro Era affiliated artists is like, they took the jewelry that we established years ago, and they were able to establish it and put that and apply that to their marketing, to their engine. You know what I'm saying? You see for yourself that yes, these words do defy the test of time. Our work ethic, our integrity, all that, the essence, the foundation of what we stand on has defied the test of time. So, like they say, if it's not broken, they'll try to fix it.
I was curious, 5FT, you ever just go walking, just, on a stroll with your loved ones, and you end up seeing your face? It's like, whoa, that's me right there.
Yeah, sometimes like walk in a record store or something, I see my vinyl, or I'll go somewhere and I hear somebody playing one of my songs. Yeah, it's cool. But like you said, it is a weird feeling.
Yeah, because you know how rare that is. Because that's I was just a kid right then. I didn't even know what music was except for the television back then. And then when I hear music like that to this day in 2019, it sounds so fresh. Like I just can't, I can't get over how timeless those Black Moon albums are.
That's a fact. I feel the same way about music that I like, or things that I like, or art that I like, or hobbies that I have. I feel the same way.
I was curious. Did you ever had a new fan come up to you and said, "What's up, 5 foot?" It's like, no, it's 5FT.
A lot of times.
That's one of the questions I always wanted to ask you, sir. I always wanted to ask you that ever since I heard you on Stay Real. I was like, who's that? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, sorry. Must have cut out. Sorry. Because that's one of the questions I always wanted to ask you, the first time, we ever heard you, on The Fever, too, or, because, I won't lie, 5FT, I went backwards with Black Moon, so I heard Total Eclipse first, then I heard Warzone, and then I heard Enter the Stage. So a lot of people, they find you guys through Enter the Stage, but when I was coming into hip-hop, it was certain artists that gravitated me. I actually found Black Moon through Juice because Enter the Stage, but I remember buying the Total Eclipse album first, and then somebody's like, that's the third one, that's not Enter the Stage. But I was real young at the time, so I was still trying to understand it at all. And when I heard Enter the Stage in that Posse cut, oh my god, I was done after that. I was like, you know what? Everything Duck Down I got after that. It was crazy how much Black Moon can put somebody onto that.
Because I've had young new fans that just got up on the group. New fans like me saying, yo, y'all got some fire. I'm like, wow, that's dope and that's deep, and that sparks inspiration to keep moving forward and still put out, new material and things of that nature, and all types of new ventures that we're exploring right now. Even with the new project, it's reinventing ourselves and reintroducing a new version of ourselves. So we got a new mission that we're coming for right now.
And with that being said, too, the newest single that they released, too, is Creep With Me. Now that's a fire
Right.
single right there. You got the second verse.
Fire right there.
It sounds like it was. Oh my God! Take me back to the '90s, please, with that. Oh my God, I love that.
I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do, because it's been a long process and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that put into this project. It hasn't been an easy journey, but you know, all praise is due to the Most High. We defy the odds. That's what we symbolize: is Black Moon, to persevere and defy the odds of all and any complicated situations that coming up on our path, and to be able to deliver the message that we're here to deliver, to give you the energy that we're here to give you. You know what I mean?
With that being said, too, how long did it take to shoot the video, or were you guys sitting on that for a while?
We took a couple of days. We took a couple of days, but we got it done. You know what I'm saying? BGE on the production side directed it. You know what I'm saying? We had allius for real. He was the cameraman. You know, we had some Bronx. She's a photographer. Pretty much me, Blue Flames, which is D over BGE, and Buck. We pretty much used our visual and our experience to put it and tweak it to where we won't be doing too much, and we won't be under the gun. So, we know performance is where it's at. Nobody. I don't know if I could curse tonight, but nobody.
Oh yeah, you can curse. Yeah, you can curse.
Nobody really fucking with us when it comes to performance.
That's a fact. That's a fact right
Nobody
there.
performs their words. Nobody performs their words. Nobody brings their words out alive on the stage the way we do. That's what we coming for this time.
Because when I was watching Behind of the Moon, you guys do a lot of live action sequences in that, and I was like,
say that again? What you just said?
When you guys released Behind the Moon documentary, you guys have like a lot of live sequencing too. Like when you guys are performing too, I'm like, wow, these guys.
Live action. Yeah, it's straight live action. You know that word live action? That's my word. That's our word. That's the Black Moon word. When you see that, that's what we do. We are live action. Everything we do is live action. You hear me?
when I was watching that too, I was like, wow, that feels like I'm right there in the stage with them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what
we always.
Oh, go ahead.
Yo, that.
But that's what makes like somebody who really has a passion for what they do, because you don't have to be doing that.
We genuinely love what we do. It's no second thought. It's like it's fifth nature now. It ain't even second. It's fifth nature. We do it because we know we can do it, and we ultimately love what we do. Period. There's no fronting. There's no faking. We never walked the path of fronting and faking to try to please to get a sale. No, if it ain't real, it ain't right. You heard what the fuck said.
Yeah, that's a fact right there. Did you ever perform with a backpack on, sir, or a knapsack?
In the beginning of our career, yeah, we did. Now we got the new, like you said, there, let the world know we got the new backpacks coming. They said jump off in a hot minute through finish line. So they could go online and check that in a minute.
And for the people who want to know about those backpacks, they can charge your phone, they can charge your laptop.
Yes, it can. There are definitely chargeable actions attached to the book bags. Plus, it's expansion inside the bag, so you can have space to put more stuff in there.
With that being said, too, the movie Juice, I understand you guys had like so much promotional material from that movie Juice they gave you.
Well, the movie Juice, we was behind it. He was at the time working with the company that was behind it, and basically we was running around doing the promotion and marketing for it. We had the T-shirts, hats, posters, the vinyls, everything.
Wow, they had vinyl for that too? Wow, can you imagine that vinyl with the original vinyl for Juice?
Yeah, I was there. Of course I can.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what makes us so dope, because we was involved in the game in so many different prime areas and prime moments. So, those are things that put us on our way to being great artists, you know what I'm saying? Being great businessmen, and like I said, standing the test of time and putting out artists, putting out material, putting out our shit. And right now we're about to venture into some other things as well.
Would you say that the world got to see you guys grow up on camera? Because I remember watching
Kinda,
kinda and sorta because of the gaps and in-betweens of the, of when you don't put out a project, nobody hear you, nobody see you. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, sorta kinda because we started young. So, pretty much, we are definitely able to let the world see us grow and develop. That's why this project right here is important and it's mandatory, because it's going to show and represent the actual maturity of us today and now. If you loved us before, we're that to the 10th power, but a mature version.
I was curious too on what makes you guys so humbled in the long run too, because
Experience, hard times, pain, experience in those fields, having integrity, having a mind that thinks outside the box and it thinks about others as much as he thinks about himself. So we come from that. We cut from that cloth where our foundation is based on that. So we know Public Enemy put out "Don't Believe the Hype." That was a real song. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe everything you see, because everything ain't as everything ain't as sweet as it may seem. With that being, with that frame of mind, that allows us to be in a very humble position and deal with things accordingly. That's the name of the game. A lot of people make things very hard and difficult, but when you use your common sense and you keep it simple, everything's a piece of cake, depending on the individual.
Yeah, because I love how to this day that 2019 that Duck Down, Ruck Down, Bucktown, all of them are teaching the youth. And that's what I love about the whole movement too, because you guys don't have to, but you guys choose to embrace the youth, and that's something that
because we didn't have it as much as we can give it. You feel what I'm saying? I didn't have somebody like me to come and give me what I can give me right now, and that's through the experience, and that's through the type of mentality we all have. We all come from hard times, and we ain't stupid. We all got a set of brains. We were smart in school. We did go to school. We did pass tests and things of that nature. We acquired the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And we was blessed at a young age to explore and take on the world as adults. We was kids.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you ever went overseas, sir, for a show?
Of course I did. Of course. It was one of those feelings that let's do it again. It's like the first time you go on a ride at the fair. I want to go back on again. Yeah, of course.
I love the way you explain that too. You just want to go again. It's but that feeling of somebody calling you overseas back then to come do a show must have been like a phenomenal feeling.
I don't want to talk. Now that I got to connect overseas, before when I was young, I used to be wondering and watching movies and wondering what's going on over there, how they live, how they really. All right, now I'm getting a phone call. Somebody invite me. Not only invite me, but going to pay me and roll out the red carpet so I can go over there and exchange some energy. They pay me for my energy. Now I set myself up, so now I travel all around the world to meet great people, make great connections, and let's do it all again. Like I just said, let's do this again.
You obviously been to Canada, right, sir?
Say it again?
You obviously been to Canada?
Yes.
What year would you say, too? Because I'm all the way up in Western Canada.
We went to, been to Toronto.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's loving Toronto right now.
Yeah, Toronto, I forgot it's like two other spots out there.
Quebec and Montreal, probably. Those are the two main cities.
Montreal was one of them. Toronto, Montreal, and I forgot the other area. But, yeah, we're supposed to be going out there in July.
Oh, really? Okay. That's what I like to hear, too. All right.
Yeah.
We got legal weed, just to let y'all know out there for the listeners, too. We got legal weed.
You already know I'm coming. I need to connect.
You ever come out to Western Canada? I got you, 5FT.
And I'm going to take you on that. I'm going to take you up on that.
All right, well, yeah. I'm mad my word, sir.
I need the action. I need the live action.
I'll get you the live extra action out here, sir.
Extra action. Just I'm about to get our own strand, so connect the dot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, Black Moon Strings. So connect the dot. Let's make sure it happens.
Wow. So, and that's what I love too about you guys having like mobile game or backpacks, and now like strains too. Like hip hop opens so many doors for different opportunities, and the world like is starting to see like it can do so many things by the power of words, and it just by
Right, and that's a fact of it. That's why now this new invention that me and Bug is on with E is like we're gonna take it to levels where nobody's took it before, not only for them but for ourselves as well. See, a lot of the other viewers is just rap artists, hip hop artists. We indulge in other hobbies as well. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of other different action going on outside of music. So we only use this vessel right now to introduce all that action. You're about to get a nice back. It's not, you ain't gonna just get music. It's gonna be live action 1,000, 1 million.
and do you remember going to the soup kitchen with Evil Dee, sir?
No, I don't remember that.
Okay, yeah, cause did you ever go record shopping with Evil Dee in that basement?
We used to do. I don't remember. I've been to so many places with E before we got a record deal to a record shop, and I can't even remember. Trust and believe me. I don't have to go with him. I know where all the spots is at. All you gotta do is tell me where he's gonna be at.
And because for the people who are new to Black Moon, but you shouldn't be if you listen to this podcast, 5FT was the one who brought everybody together.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I was like, for the people who are like new to Black Moon, but they shouldn't be, 5FT brought everybody to Black Moon together.
That's exactly. I set the base. Me and E went to school in Bushwood High School. That's where I met E in my freshman year. And I ended up meeting Buck like a year or two later after that. We met in Brooklyn at the spot where I used to practice dancing at. That's how me and Buck connected through dancing. And I told him I had a DJ that made the music for me. And I was already inquiring to make the transition to be an MC. So we both was collaborated on that. We started from there. The rest is where we at right now.
I was curious, because I understand Tech was real quiet when he came around too. He just, wave at you, look everyone all crazy. Do you remember the first conversation that y'all ever had with Tech besides him rapping? Or he always just used to come and rap?
Oh, you said Tech?
Yeah, from Smith & Wesson, sir. Shout out to Tech and General Steel.
Tech never talked, and we didn't know Tech rap. I've been in Steel rap. I grew up with Steel, actually. We all grew up in the same area called Brownsville, and the project's called Cephalo Project, the building 131. I always used to see all this, like, Rock, Top Dog, which is Steel's brother. Used to hang with my cousin. That's how I know Top Dog. And the rest of everybody that's connected to BCC, we all grew up in the same area. So I already knew about Steel, but I didn't know Tech Rock until he started doing it. And that's crazy.
Yeah, because I understand
they
too.
ended up being the dopest duo in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like I bear witness to a lot of live action in people's beginnings, and it's a beautiful thing, man. That's why being inspiring.
Yeah, because
been inspired. You know what I'm saying? When you're inspired, or can do is, or you want to do is also inspired. So through the blessing and grace of the Most High, we able to do that. Without that, I don't think we're able to do it.
Do you have a favorite book, 5FT, that you always read like over and over again?
Art of War. Art of War Success, which is one of my Bible books I keep with me. That shit is beat up to the death, but I got it with me. A lot of mind mental books. Read a lot of self-help books. So, improving yourself mentally, improving your business, action,
Yeah, I like how you said improving yourself mentally too. I believe that's a topic that really gets touched on nowadays.
I mean, but if I didn't do that, I don't think I'll be able to do what I'm doing right now. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It's trust and believe. It's a lot of rough days on this side. The current get roughed on this side. You know what I'm saying? All y'all see is when we out and about and we chilling. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't get a chance to see the rough waves we go through. So, you know, those rough waves been a blessing to our lives to give us the strength and the edge that we need to keep pushing forward. Our mind has the mentality to conquer our situation and be able to do what we want to do, which is give people the energy that makes them feel good and inspired to better themselves. You know?
Would you ever consider writing a book later on, 5FT?
Say that again.
Would you ever consider writing a book?
I've got a few books coming. I got a cookbook coming. I got the self-help book coming. I got a mind book coming. I got a few books coming.
Oh, cookbook. Okay, I like that. Okay, cookbook. Okay, that'd be interesting to see. With that being said, too, 5FT, I don't know if Mr. Blake can hear me, but one of my most favorite lyrics is "Fire in the hole, next explode, next episode, like the Doctor, Buck Proper, Kenyatta, Don Data, slap fathers, digging your bitch, make your chick jawless."
Jawless, right? Fire, fire.
That's off Creep with me. Just for all people listening.
I know what it is. I know what it is. Like I said, that's fire. What happened? He still got bars. What happened? My man, what happened? Like, yeah, we on back. Boom is back. You know, we take a lot of time and we take a lot of pride in what we did just now. And we're glad that people are expressing their appreciation and their love and attachment for this new action we got. You know, the new single is just the beginning, the intro of the new level of where we at right now and where we about to take things. And with the next set of videos and visuals that we put out, that's going to definitely show y'all pretty much where we at right now and where we about to take it to. You know, at the same time, show how much we appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because without y'all, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing right now. You know, in a nutshell. Without the demand, we couldn't commit, you know.
How long would you say it took y'all to make this Rise of the Moon album, sir?
Honestly, it took us a little too long, but I'm going to say that it took us long enough. You know what I'm saying? It took us long enough, because now we, you know, from the beginning of the start to the process up to we have a perfect finished product in our opinion and in a lot of people's opinion, but from a, you know, not just from an artist, but as a fan as well, you know, as business as well, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, everything pretty much took the time it needed to take.
And it's just strictly Black Moon, no guests or nothing?
We got Smith and Wesson.
Woo! The All's fire. Y'all need to go get that All album, too, for the listeners.
Go get that All album out right now. You know what I'm saying?
Got that on CD over here.
We got Rock on the album.
Shout out to Big Rock, rocking this monster.
We got the Rock and this monster on the album. Go out and get his album as well. We got an album out right now. We got Method Man from the Wu-Tang on the album.
Wow.
You know, Wu and Boot Camp.
Yeah.
These things in bootstraps. Definitely, we got a remix on one of the joints we just did. I want to say, I would want to keep that a surprise.
Yes, please. We want a few surprises.
Yeah, I'm going to keep that as a surprise. It's a remix to the Dawn Flow. And they one of the songs in the album is called the Dawn Flow. So we had to do a remix to it. So we got another surprise guest that's going to jump on that. So everything is ready to go, man. Everything is definitely ready to go, you know.
One of the things that I'm mostly waiting on, too, is that album artwork when it drops. Oh, my God, I can't wait. I love album artwork. I'm a big fan of it.
Last-minute tweaks. Let's call it last-minute tweaks. You know, you still got to get clearance of certain music, so we still right there. But come next month, pre-order's going to be ready. Everything's going to be ready to go come next month. That's right around the corner. So.
I was curious, 5FT, with your militant minds, what do you hope to accomplish with that establishment, sir? Because I understand that you have a few artists signed to that.
I don't have nobody on it at that time. I used to have some artists, but it's been revamped, reconstructed. So pretty much it's going to be a lot of artists, a lot of different artists coming under that banner right there.
Oh, okay. So it's like revamped.
Pretty much, it's just the war on knowledge. It's the war to free your mind. It's the war to be free. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, physically, and spiritually. So pretty much that's what militant minds means to me, to be disciplined and enough control to make the progress that's needed to get the job done, execute the plan, you know, and help others, strengthen others.
And it's like what you said.
Their self-freedom, you know what I mean?
Well, and it's also what, like you said earlier, too, about patience is a virtue, too, because you can't rush a timeless project, too.
I mean, we got to get back to that. If we keep thinking that everything is just because everything is fast paced, it takes away from the organic, way of flow or the organic current. No, you know what I'm saying. All that is, you just put that on top of the organic current. You still got to go a certain way. You still got to eat a certain way. Your body still got to function a certain way. It still got to get the right nutrition and nutrients and vitamins it needs, no matter how fast the pace is going.
I was going to say, 5FT, are you vegan?
Am I vegan? I'm on my way. I ain't going to say I'm vegan.
Okay, but you're on your way. That's good to hear.
I'm on my way, though, you know. I don't eat no pork. I never been no pork eater. I ain't go up on that. But, you know, I don't eat as much as red meat. I periodically have my red meat, but I'm more of a fish. A lot of fish, a lot of chicken, a lot of salmon, a lot of fish. So more fish.
Okay, well that's good to hear you're eating healthy too, because health is wealth.
I promote that 1,000,000%. I'm also gonna have soon a physical fitness gym action going on. So
wow.
So it's, like I said, there's a lot going on right now. I don't try to explain everything at one shot. Might be too much, but eating healthy has been my big thing. It's been a major big thing for me, my family, my mother's vegan. You know, she's always promoted eating healthy, being healthy. You know what I'm saying? She's a cancer survivor. You know what I'm saying? So she had, you know, the experience in itself, you know, allow her to make it an easy choice and decision to say, yo, it's going to be me eating right all my life, and I ain't going to be here for my kid. So, you know, I promote always eating healthy, and, you know, not only eating healthy, but the information you intake in your mind has an effect on you mentally and spiritually. So, you know, try to be healthy in all three areas. You know, that's the only way that you can really capture some form of true balance, you know.
Yeah, because your body's your temple. You have to take care of it.
That's your everything. Well, your mind first, your spirit second, and then the body. You know, without the mind and the spirit, the body is nothing.
I like how you said that, 5FT. That's the mind, the spirit, then the body. I like that.
Yeah.
With that being said, too, with you having like a long, incredible, legendary history in this too, what advice would you give to somebody who's been trying to get into industry for a long time, but like they just keep raising the bar, but they keep going? What advice would you give them?
Only advice I can give them is come to Buckshot.com, come to OBS. We're going to make it happen. That's the only thing I'm going to tell you right now. If you're an artist that you got to have what it takes. You got to have what it takes. You have the ability to work. You got to have the look. You got to have the sound. It's a lot of things that come with it. It's because I know I see a lot of artists that, or a lot of people like, yo, this artist sound like this. He sound like the other artist. He look like this artist. He ain't doing no work in it. No, that don't work for everybody. Find your niche. Find the thing that's going to work, and you work on that, and you develop that part of your situation. And then you get you some people that know about real business and not no part-time business or no half-fast-ass business. Know some real business. And then you put your package together, and then you move forward. And stay independent if you have to. You know, if you got to cut a deal, make sure that it's a deal through your company that you're signed under. You know?
Make sure you get more of the bread.
Say that again?
Make sure that when you're doing a cut for while staying independent, make sure that it benefits you in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? The way things going now, you don't really need the label. You need the label to a certain degree because they can cut the barrier and get the people that you don't speak to or you can't speak to.
5FT, this is a question that I ask all of my guests too. The reason why I ask this question is nobody can ever answer this question the same, and it's a question that I like to ask. Like once I don't like to ask it right in the beginning. I like to feel the vibe out. But with that being said, like I said, no individual can ever answer this the same. Do you have any words for somebody in a dark place trying to see the light?
There's light in the dark. There's always light in the darkness. Even though darkness came before the light, there's always light within the darkness. You gotta reach for that light within your darkness to gain understanding, to pull yourself out of whatever dark space where you are. Eliminate your fears, eliminate your doubt. Strengthen your will and your determination. You create your circle, you create your foundation. You create everything that happens in your world. You allow those things to happen. You are in control of your destiny once you let go of fear and the doubt.
Wow, that's a
light in the dark. You got to find a switch. We all be in dark places. That's where you grow at. It's okay to be in a dark space. Your job is to understand why you're in a dark space and know that there's a light and a switch waiting to be turned on, and only you can turn that on.
I like that saying. Only you can turn it on too, because in the long run, only you can help yourself.
And at the end of the day, we expecting people to tell us out the world. Just know that you might not find somebody to do. So what you going to do?
You gotta turn that switch on by yourself.
Exactly. Push yourself, push yourself, push yourself, push yourself. Forget the naysayers, forget the people that ain't on your side. But sometimes it ain't your journey ain't meant for everybody. Your journey ain't meant for everybody to understand it. It's really only meant for you to understand it.
And because it's your story, and everybody has their own unique story to tell the world.
Figure out what part you play in the big scheme of things. Understand your position.
Now,
strengthen your position. So move forward,
I like how you said, find your position in this world. That's what I did with podcasting, sir. That's where I found my passion in this world.
And that's why you're there now. That's the only reason why you're able to be there. Because of
that. And, with that being said, too, is there anything that you'd like to plug in before I talk to the other members for 2 seconds, sir?
Say that again?
I said, would you like to plug anything before I talk to the other members for 2 seconds?
I don't think Buck will be able to speak. He's not here.
Oh, okay.
Just let everybody... Hey, we got the new single out right now on all digital platforms. Creep with me. New Black Moon coming next month, pre-order. July pre-orders. And just be on the lookout for us, man. We coming, we here, we on deck. Hip-hop, we back. Live action.
And now, with that being said, too, with the live action, too, y'all need to go check out that Creep With Me video, because this is going to be fire.
Tell them again, tell them all, we here. Tell them all now.
Rise of the Moon coming very, very soon, y'all. Y'all going to be very, very happy with this project.
Live action, that's right.
And with that being said, there's another classic episode from the Desk of Low featuring 5FT.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, anytime. DJ Evil Dee?
Yeah, who's this?
This is Ken Lowe, the kid from Instagram, contacting you about the interview.
Okay, yeah. My manager told me, yeah.
Yeah,
what's up, man?
Are you all good to go, sir?
Yeah, I'm, doing my usual working.
I won't take up much of your time, sir.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
All right. Just let me hit record and then we lit.
Okay.
Welcome back from the desk of Low. I have with me one of my favorite DJs ever. He's also one of my favorite producers ever, but I have to let the people know he actually DJs too. He's a legend. I actually have the vinyl sitting right in front of me. Enter the stage. Without further introductions, I have the one and only DJ Evil Dee.
Peace. What's up, man? What's going on?
Oh, Pete, you're fucking me up right here. Peace, Ken. How you doing?
All right, chilling. You know what I'm saying? You good?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I just can't believe I'm talking to you. I just been a fan of your work for a long time, sir.
Hey, it's all cool. You know what I'm saying?
So DJ Evil Dee, I'm curious because you've been in this game for a very long time too, and I was curious. Do you think that the park jams can ever be replicated, or that was a time in hip hop that can never be replicated?
The park jams, they can't. You know, we still have parties in the park out here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We have jams in the park still, so they never went nowhere.
Do you think that it was just because it was brand new in the late 80s and the early 90s that in the early 70s and the 60s that people weren't really used to it?
Yeah, you know, because it was a new thing, so, you know, it was brand new to them. So, you know, it takes people a minute to get used to it. It's like with us, like, look at social media. It takes a minute to get used to that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Well, because hip hop started in New York City too, so I can only imagine like the early days of the park jams too, when hip hop was first being created too, like the b-boys and the breakdance and the actual DJ battles. People don't remember that part.
Well, the whole thing was this: back in the days, the reason the park jams was, you know, we had the jams in the park was because half of us couldn't go to the clubs. You know what I'm saying? Like Studio 54, they wasn't letting us in like that, you know. And then at the same time, they wasn't playing the stuff that we wanted to hear. You know, so it's like how hip hop music was created out of rebellion. You know what I'm saying? Blacks and Spanish cats got together and created this music. You know what I'm saying? Out of frustration, like we didn't have nothing, and it's like we didn't have a place to present our music, so we brought it to the streets. You know? So that's the whole thing with hip-hop.
Well, you're also one of the very first acts to be completely independent and make a national impact too. I'm curious too that if it still kind of resonates with you from all those years back then, it's like, wow, like you never knew that hip-hop can do so much for you.
Yeah, well, the whole thing was like I didn't come in expecting what I have now. You know, I just expected people to love the music, and that was it. I didn't expect to impact people all over the world. Like I was making something for my people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just funny, like how it's definitely great how it impacted everybody. You know.
Hence the name Powerful Impact. So you came up in a time too when like hip hop was like, you know, first starting out as well too, because like you have, I know you have a hate loving relationship with bootlegging too, but you said something that stuck with me for a very long time. You said that hip hop spread out through the world because somebody copied that one tape and it just kept going and going and going. Do you think that if nobody ever did that, that hip-hop would have been later on? Because, like, wow, like, when you said that, I really thought about that. It's like, it really did spread from bootlegging.
Yeah, because what happened was people, like, they had the jams in the park. Cats would take their radio to the park and record the jams. Then they'll get home or wherever they're going, and they're playing that tape. Somebody else wants it, so they're going to dub it. And then it's going to dub, they're going to take it to where they're going, and they're going to dub it. And it gets to the point where this one tape is everywhere. Like, no matter what, and people could say what they're going to say, bootlegging ain't going nowhere. It's never going to go nowhere.
Yes.
You know, because if that's the case, we might as well not give our records to the radio to play neither. Because, you know, the radio playing our record, you can hear it. Some people are satisfied with that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like I tell everybody, bootlegging was the best thing that happened to hip hop because it spread the word. You know?
That's a gem right there. I ain't gonna front.
Yeah, but you know, it's the truth though. It's like even with stuff that I've done, like not even records, but my radio shows. My radio shows get bootlegged, and people sell them as mixtapes.
Really?
You know, am I gonna get mad at that? No, I'm not gonna get mad at that. What you're doing is just spreading the word.
And was this Beat Miners Radio that they used to bootleg?
Even before that, when I was on college radio back in the days, when I was on Hot 97, when I was on Power 105, and on Sirius.
Wow.
You know, but they also bootleg my Beat Miners radio shows. So it's all good though.
Is it true that Word Up magazine was the very first magazine that you ever appeared on, Evil Dee?
Yeah.
You still happen to have that issue, just framed or laying around the crib somewhere?
Yeah, I have it. It's what it is they had a section called I think it was called Microphone Check, and it was for unsigned and up-and-coming artists. And that was the first write-up that Black Moon ever got.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is something I always wanted to ask you, and every time when the time came, I totally forgot the answer, because I could have asked Mr. Blake or Five, but I totally forgot. I was wondering if you can take me back to the photo shoot of Enter the Stage, too, because I noticed that on the CD, vinyl, and cassette, it's 3 different covers.
No, it's not 3 different. It's 3 different covers now.
Oh, but okay.
It was the same cover. It was the same cover for Enter the Stage, the album. But when we put out the box set, we did. You know, we used alternate shots.
So,
go ahead.
Oh, so sorry to cut you off. So that was for the box set. Okay, so I was just wondering, just in general, if you could just take me back to that photo shoot.
Well, that was basically us and my man Chimodu, who used to be at the Source. He did the shot, he did the photography for us. The album covers, that was done in the studio. Then if you look like, you know, the CD booklet or whatever, or even on the back of the album cover, of us, that's the park, which was this park in Manhattan on 14th Street, which is still there. They call it Skateboarders Park.
Okay.
You know, it was just us hanging out. You know, it wasn't nothing planned. You know, it was just us hanging out, being.
It was completely natural, as you would, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you guys have like conversations with Buckshot about him looking down in the cover, like because like there's alternate shots obviously too. Like, what made you guys want to choose that shot in particular?
Because it just looked dope. It had the look that we was looking for. You know, like we took so many pictures that day. I think we took like 10 rows of pictures.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember how many. Like we did 10 rows of pictures that day, and. You know, because that's what we use in film. And it was just like that one in particular picture was the picture that we liked. You know, and Buck liked it. I think he picked it. Come to think of it.
You know, because that's such an iconic album cover. Enter the Stage was 1994, right?
Enter the Stage was 1992.
Okay. Really?
I mean, no, I think Entrance Stage was 1993. I'm sorry, 1993.
Yeah, Juice was 1992.
You know what I'm saying?
Really?
I'll tell you right now.
I could have sworn that was in the movie Juice.
No.
Okay, I'm taking from the man himself right here though. But I understand though.
I'll tell you like this. Juice was out. They put Juice out in 1992.
Okay.
They recorded Juice in 91. The Enter the Stage came out in 1993. Who Got the Props came out 1992.
Oh, okay.
But Who Got the Props didn't have a cover. And then the movie, as a matter of fact, if I can remember, Juice was released in January of 1992. Who Got the Props dropped June of 92. That's when we gave it to radio. You know what I'm saying? So Juice was done before us.
Wow, because this is back at a time when records used to live too, because Who Got the Props? That record lasted for 3+ years.
Yeah, that's when records, that it was, pre-internet. So what it is, before the internet, the only way we got our records was by spreading on a song. That was back then when records did last a year. Somebody would put out a single, they'll put out a single 2 months before it drops in the stores.
Yeah.
You know? I know Who the Props hit the stores in November.
Oh, wow.
Of 1992. But we dropped the single in the summer of 92. June, we was giving it to DJs.
That's crazy how fast music is disposed of now too, because back it's like what you said though, it was the pre-internet though. That's when people actually appreciated music. Now I'm not saying music isn't appreciated now, but it's so easily disposable because I noticed a hot song will last 2 weeks and it's there's classic songs out there Who Got the Props that will last forever in time. It just do you think that the internet kind of hurt it a little bit too because everything's so fast paced now? Or we were destined for the internet no matter what?
Well, what happened I'm going to tell you what happened, music-wise. And this is just my opinion, so I could be wrong.
Okay.
But I feel that when technology came along, that's what kind of messed up music a little bit because it made everybody think that they could do music. And what happened was everybody started making records. Everybody wanted to be a model. Everybody wanted to be a producer. Everybody wanted to be a DJ. And it's oversaturated. And it's when one record drops, there's 30 other records waiting to take that record's place.
Yeah.
So that's why music doesn't last as long as it used to. And plus, even the industry, they went from taking a record and just writing it out until it dies to the first week sales. Because if you notice, a record company will go, yo, the first week sales of this record was hot. And then you won't hear about it again.
That's true.
And then what it is being that the record companies are like that, radio starts getting like that, where they're like, yo, this record is hot. First week is hot. Second week is hot. Okay, it's dying for the third week, so we got this new record by blah, blah, blah we're going to put in. And that's what happened, basically. It's people, and you got to understand also, records aren't physical no more.
Yes.
Records are MP3s, so it's not something you hold in your hands. It's not something you turn around and see on the table. So out of sight, out of mind.
Well, that's a pretty good opinion, though. I can agree with that, though. It's true, though.
Yeah.
Do you think...
It's crazy, but it's true.
Well, as as hip hop evolved, or even the beats evolved with technology too, because I'm pretty sure it got a lot more easier for production as time went on with technology as opposed to back then. Like, did that take time to get used to for you, or you're always like a tech savvy person, Evil Dee?
Well, I'll be honest. I became tech savvy a little later than everybody, but when I did, I dove deep.
Okay.
Because what happened was, I always had Lord Finesse and Buck Wild from Digging in the Crates and OG, and they always was on top of their game. And my man King of Chill, you know what I'm saying? My man King of Chill from oh man, why am I forgetting the name of his group? That is so bad. The Alliance.
Okay.
King of Chill was the producer he produced MC Light's records back in the days, and he had his group called the Alliance, which was a real dope Brooklyn group. As a matter of fact, the intro to my mixtapes and to all my mixes and now that stuff that the joint I play.
Yes.
Life. That's his record.
Oh, okay.
That's the record he put out. But now what I was saying was technology wise, as a producer, it's gotten easier. But what I always tell people is the best way to produce is by your ears, not by technology. You know, of course you got to use the new technology, but I mean, listen with your ears also. Because, technology may chop it up for you one way, but if you listen with your ears, you're going to chop it the way you feel.
And, I always say this, producers always have way more advanced ears than the average listener.
Yeah. Like, I'll tell you like this album, the new album we're putting out now, I don't know if you heard the new single we just dropped.
Oh yeah, Rise of the Moon. I had the minute that shit dropped, I put that on my playlist.
Okay. Well, it's like when you listen to that, it sounds like I did it back in the day.
It does.
But that's me using the MPC Renaissance and Ableton. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, that's what I mean when I say produce with your ears and not with your eyes. Like, I could make technology sound the way I want it to sound. So, there's no excuse for anybody. Like, you can't say, oh, my drums don't sound the right way because of technology. No. Take the time out and learn the instrument that you're using. 2 years ago, I wasn't using Ableton.
Oh.
I started using Ableton 2 years ago, and when I looked at Ableton, when I first seen Ableton, I was like, nah, I'm not messing with that. But once I seen what it could do, I had to learn it, and I had to adapt it into what I was doing,
Well, yeah.
And you hear what's coming out of it now.
Yeah. It's straight fire. I won't front.
Thank you.
Anytime. So, you come up in a time as well, too, where, audio matters, too. When you were coming around, with the first beat miners, coming up with the name beat miners, too, is it true that you used to go digging in this, basement that was, just records everywhere, and you guys would come up and dust would be all over you? Was that, actually a real place, DJ Evil Dee?
Yeah. Well, back in the days, I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to give you some history. Before the beat miners, which me and my brother was called the beat miners, we was called Black Moon Productions. And Black Moon's name was High Tech. Now, what happened was my brother would take me record shopping, and we would go to this spot in East New York. And, we would go into the basement to go dig for records, and the basement was dirty and nasty. It was muddy water in there, and it was Like, you come up, you be dirty and everything, and it was like, you be digging for records and a dead rat will float by.
Ugh.
Like, it was disgusting. But that's what we digged for records at the time. And the records was a quarter. So we would come up with stacks of records. And it's funny, we took like Q-Tip there. We took people there too. And it was like, we in this basement digging for records and finding gems. And it's like, we finding mad records only paying a quarter. Here you go, blah, 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 blah. So we dug there for a long time. And it was like, one of the days we was in there digging, my brother had a group called Potentially Dangerous. And his MC, DEA, looked at me and my brother coming from the record store. He was like, y'all look like coal miners. I'm going to make a record and I'm going to call it the Beat Miners. And my brother thought that name was so dope. My brother said, the production team's going to be called the Beat Miners. Me and Buckshot looked at my brother and said, can we have the name Black Moon? He was like, sure, why not? And that's how Black Moon got their name.
Wow.
Well, that's how we got out.
And it's crazy. Yeah. And it's crazy just how certain situations you put yourself in can make history. Like, that's what I find crazy about it.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
It's just about certain situations that you put yourself in that can make history. That's what I still find crazy.
Yeah. It's still, like, this whole thing still bugs me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole music thing and how big it is and all that. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, but you know what, though? I'm happy. I'm happy that I could affect people in that way and they love the music that I'm doing.
Well, it also shows, too, that you're appreciative, too, because there's people out there with millions of dollars and they're depressed as hell and not happy, and that's what true happiness is doing what you love.
Yeah, definitely gotta, you definitely gotta be happy with what you're doing.
You were...
And me, I just love music.
Well, and then it also shows as well, too, because, like, you were also a part of one of my most favorite record labels ever, Raucous. Man, I love Raucous. Don't get me started on that. Is it true that they wanted to give you, like, a diamond out chain, and you told them, don't give me that, because I'm going to sell that for records? Is it true you said that?
Yeah. What happened was, Raucous, and this is what killed Raucous. Raucous started trying to be like other labels. And Raucous, when Beat Miners signed our deal at Raucous, they wanted to give us these platinum chains. And it was a platinum Raucous chain. And I said to them, instead of giving me a chain, I'm not going to wear it. Instead of giving me this chain, what you should do is give me money so I can go record shopping and I go buy equipment. Because I'll be honest with you, if you give me this chain, I'm going to take all the pictures with y'all today. I'm going to walk out of here, take it to the pawn shop, and cash it in, and go record shopping and equipment shopping.
See?
Because, that's not my thing,
Yeah, music is obviously your thing, too, because you're not in it for the flashy cars and stuff like that. You're in it for the culture.
Like I told somebody the other day, I said, I don't own a car. I don't own a car because I live in New York. And I can get around New York with no problem. And, but I own property.
And see, that's way better than a car.
Yeah, and it's funny because what I found out the other day is there's a lot of rich people I know that don't own cars. But we all live in New York. And then even now with Uber and all that, we could. I never had a problem with transportation. And I hop on a train. And that's something I normally do.
You actually take pictures of yourself still on the train.
Yeah, I'm on the train. Yeah, I get on the train. I'm chilling. Because what it is on the train, 9 out of 10, people recognize you. But half the time, people don't know it's you. And they don't want to ask you. So you get on the train, I'm on the train, I'm listening to whatever I'm working on, or,
yeah,
up a new album came out. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, like me running around this week, I was listening to Gangstar and Sky Zoo and P-Rock and Pharaoh, and you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of heat out there right now.
Yeah. Hip hop coming back full throttle.
Yo, like, you know, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, yo, Friday felt real good when I looked up and it was like all these dope records was out. Like I tell people, I'm like, yo, yeah, I put a record out, but I'm not a hater.
Yeah.
I'm gonna congratulate my peers. You know, and what a relief for a new Gangstar record.
Yeah.
Like, yo, like I had to hit Primo and be like, yo, this is it right here. It is incredible, see.
It is.
But yeah, it's like, you know, and I'm gonna tell you right now, like what it is I think what's happening now is music is definitely getting more. It's getting back to choices.
Yes.
You know, because I'm not gonna sit on your show and hate on the younger cats because they're just expressing themselves. And it's not about, you know, there's always going to be records we love, there's always going to be records we hate.
Yeah.
But if you don't like it, listen to what you do like. Like, one thing a lot of people are writing to me is, yo, hip-hop is back. Hip-hop been back. It's just nobody bothered to dig and look for it.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true. I'll give you that's true.
Like, it's a lot of boom bap records that I get in my email and that I buy. And, you know, like, yo, I bought the Freddie Gibbs Mad Lib album.
Oh yeah, a bandana. That's fire.
Yeah, like, you know, it's records that's out right now that's so dope, and it's like no one's digging for them, so that's why nobody knows.
Well, like,
you know.
And honestly, it feels like it's the golden era because we're getting new Gangstar, new Black Moon, Raz Kaz just dropped Soul on Ice too. It's like history's repeating itself.
Yeah, Raz Kaz, I forgot about him. Yeah, Raz Kaz always dropping something dope.
Yeah.
You know, he's always dropping something dope. Like, and see, one thing with me, I'm a fan of good music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a fan of good music. If it's dope, I got it somehow. Either I bought it or someone gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? Or the rec company sent me the promo for the radio station. But I got it. It's like the Freddie Gibbs. I went and bought the Freddie Gibbs and we added it to Beat Miners.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't wait for the rec company to send it to me.
Yeah, you actually supported the culture and actually went and bought it so you can actually add it to your own show. It's like, this is actually dope music that people should hear.
Yeah, like, you know, my whole thing is, like, I'm always listening to dope stuff. And then at the same time, I want to create dope stuff. Because in my iPod is all 90s music. I got all the 90s joints. And then I got 2000 joints, and I got 2010 to 2000 now. You know and it's like, yo, it's all boom bap, and it's all dope. You know, like, I don't listen to trap like that. I respect what they doing, but I don't listen to it because it's not my cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I give it a listen to see what it's about. You know, I just don't kill it because it's trap.
Oh yeah, because like you can't hate on anything if you don't give it a shot.
Yeah. So you know, but it's like, yeah, man, good music is coming.
Because like we're all a fan of I love New York hip hop. There's just something about New York that's a very special place. Have you caught the Wu-Tang series? Not the documentary, but like the TV series?
Nah, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit down and binge watch it.
Yes, because I'm gonna tell you one thing. I would love to see a Duck Down thing like that happen because like the way they're telling the story, that's something how Duck Down should do it instead of a full-length feature film. Because I can only imagine like the stories like 5 bringing Buckshot to your house, and Buckshot's like, damn, there's a lot of records in this place.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I'm actually going to sit down and put that together, because I'm working on it. I'm working on it now, like to make a proposal to the guys, be like, yo, this is what I want to do. You know, because I think it's time to tell that story.
Yes. Because you have, like, the NWA movie, then you have the Wu-Tang series. Man, like, even, the Notorious, like, as much backlash as that got, it was still a good movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was a good movie. Like, I wasn't mad at Notorious. You know, I just felt that Little Kim should have been in there more. You know, I felt that it was some people that was missing that should have been in there.
Yes.
But, you know, other than that, it was a good fight. You know?
Is it true that, you really did the sound bombing, too, and they came together because you were a fan of Raucous?
No, I did the first sound bombing.
Oh, you did the first one, okay, so...
I did sound bombing. Like, I made up the whole sound bombing thing. And what it was I loved what Raucous was doing. I loved the way they was doing their thing. And I decided to make a mixtape for them. And when I went to them, I went to Brian and Jarrett and told them the idea. I said, y'all want to do a mixtape for y'all, you know, so y'all could have, like, something out in the street and something to give away at the conventions. And they was like, cool, no problem. And I told them what I wanted to do. They said, no problem. I told them what artists I wanted to use. They went and got all the artists and brought them to the studio. And we set up in D&D recording freestyles. Okay. Once we finished recording the freestyles, I took everything and I made acetate and, dub plate. And I mixed it together in my house like I made my mixtape. And I gave them the master DAT of the mixtape and said, here, y'all can make the copies, there you go. 2 days later, Gary hit me up and they was like, yo, this is too good to be put out on the street. And I was like, nah, don't put it out in the record store, just put it out on the street. And they was like, no, we really want to, and blah, 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 this, that, and the third. Finally, it was like, you know what, do what y'all going to do. And they was like, all right. They sent me a check, and because they gave me an advance, they was like, yo, we can give you an advance now, and then we'll pay you royalties on the mixtape, which I never got, but, you know.
Yeah, I heard Raucous was bad for business.
Yeah, it was very bad business. They were very bad with their business. Like, you know, it got to a point where I was just like, you know, yo, guys, like, I'm going to come up there and beat everybody's ass. But they was very bad with their business. That's why they're not around now.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard stories, like, I've heard when, Pharaoh was, supposed to perform Oh No, and then the Raucous didn't pay Nate Dogg enough to perform the hook. It's just things like that I heard of.
Yeah. Like, they would do stuff like that, and you're like, yo, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is Nate Dogg. You're not going to pay for Nate Dogg?
Yeah.
You guys are high.
That'd be one hell of an investment, too.
Yeah, like, I would have had, God rest his dead, I'd have had Nate Dogg out here rocking.
So I understand that Black Moon's upcoming LP was titled Dark Side of the Moon, but was it switched to Rise of the Moon? Am I right?
No.
Oh.
It was always, no, you know what? We played with that title for a sec.
Okay.
But Rise of the Moon sounded way better.
Yeah, as opposed to Dark Side of the Moon, too, because I was like, wow, I don't know where this is going, but like, I like how you guys put Rise of the Moon, too, because this is for a new generation.
Yeah. You know, and it's good because, you know, it's the rise. You know, you rise. know what I'm saying? You rise up, you wake up. And we want cats to be awake to hear this. You know what I'm saying?
Do you have like any particular favorite records that are on that album that, because the track listing got released, we just never heard it. Do you have like a particular favorite track that you love the most on that upcoming album? So when the people actually do hear it, they'll be like, wow, he said that in the interview.
Okay. On my album, let me think. A bunch of records on there.
Oh yeah, I seen the track. I'm mad hype.
Yeah, and then we got two records that we didn't put on the album.
Okay.
So, you know, we try to remember stuff that's on the album. I don't want to say something that's not on there. And it'd be like, yo, E, what's that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you like that. There's a record called Look at Them. I like that.
Okay.
That one's crazy. One of my favorites is the single that's out now, Black Moon Rise.
Ah, classic.
It's like, yo, like the way the way me and Walt put together the album production wise is bananas. So I like everything, but those records right there that I mentioned are the ones that stand out. I'll tell you like this: the production on General Fever is crazy too.
Okay.
That's 5 solo cuts.
Okay.
You know, and then here's another thing for the nostalgia cat. I also use the SP on the album also.
Oh shit! Give it that classic feel
Like
to it.
I'll tell y'all this much: the drums, all the drums that are on the album went through the SP first.
I wonder. That's why it knocks in the car.
Yeah, like because you know that SP had that sound, and I didn't want to sit there and try to duplicate it. Like even if you look at the new video now, there's a shot of me standing in my DJ room.
Yes.
If you look, you see my SP right there. Because that room that I'm DJing in, that's one of my studios.
Okay.
That's one of my studios in my house. And this is the room that this is the room that I that you know my old studios in, where I have 950 to 1200, 2000.
Oh wow.
2000 XL. I got my Juno keyboard. I got all my analog stuff in here, and I still use it. Because instead of sitting down and recreating something, I have the source. Just go to the source.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's very true. And you have it all set up too. It's like what you said. You actually use it.
Yeah. So if I want to use my SP, I just turn it on. It's plugged up already. Turn it on and do the program I want to do. Then I'll just dump it into the straight to the MPC or straight to Ableton, wherever it's gonna go, and that's it.
Do you have a particular record that you just love to scratch when you're by yourself at the crib? That's something you just always love to scratch?
I would say Funky President.
Oh wow!
I always put up Funky President, whether it's on 45, whether it's on album, single, or Serato. You know.
What's because I know like Diana Ross and like there's a lot of great other music outside of hip hop too. I was curious, like, what are your favorite genres outside of hip hop that you enjoy listening to?
I listen to anything that's dope.
Okay.
Like in my iPod, I got Mel Torme. I got what else I got in there? People like Word. I got rock stuff in here. Got a lot of rock stuff in, like the Doors, the Beatles.
Are you like the Doors? Wow, I never would have suspected that.
Yeah, the Doors are incredible. You know, if you listen to, like, when you listen to, you can hear the influence when you hear this new album.
Yes.
You hear the influence influences on this new album. Like you'll hear things pan. You might hear something go from the left to the right speaker. Like you're gonna hear like the way the music sounds, even though it's our beat minus sound. Like you're gonna hear little things in there. And then the way that the way that I did the music is, frequencies. Because people produce records nowadays just to be loud.
Yeah.
Me, I want it to be so that when you hear it in your car, you hear it one thing. When you hear it in the club, and you hear them subs.
That's different.
You know what I'm saying? And then if you listen to it on your computer speakers, you hear the record. Like it's not like you can't hear it on certain formats. You hear it everywhere.
Do you ride around listening to the new album, and then after you hear certain stuff that you go back and fix? Do you do that often?
I only do that when I'm mixing.
Okay.
Or when I'm working on something. Like if I'm when I did this, when we was recording this album, I would listen to it. Like I'll tell you like this. Like we started really, really recording 2016.
Oh wow, it's been 3 years.
We recorded a bunch of records, and I was going to DJ. I was going to Columbia to DJ, and this was around. No, my mistake. I was going to Japan. It was a holiday, Christmas. I was going to Japan, and I listened to the album on the flight. And on the flight, I wrote a letter. I wrote an email to my crew, and I was like, "Yo, this album is good, but it's not good enough. All of us got to come back to the table, and we got to make more banging stuff." And that's when I listen. I listen when I get to sit there when I'm traveling. I'll listen to it and see, like, okay, we need to fix this, we need to do that. Other than that, once the album is done, I just put it in my arsenal. You know what I'm saying? I don't listen to my music like that.
Okay.
Because I know it already. But I like to listen to other stuff.
Yeah. Well, okay. Since you said that, I'm curious too. Do you go back and re-listen to your old music once it's been released to the world, and you just vibe out to it? It's like, yeah, we did that perfectly. Like, do you do that often?
Not often. I'll do it. Like, what'll happen is, if I'm on a trip and it comes up in shuffle, I'll listen to it.
Okay.
But what I do is, I listen to it so much before it comes out that I kind of know it already. Like, the last thing I'm going to do is, which I'm probably going to do this week, is approve the vinyl.
Okay.
Because I got to listen to it and make sure it sounds right, make sure that the grooves are right for scratching,
Yeah, because vinyl has a totally different sound than audio. Totally different sound.
Yeah. With vinyl, I can't be too bassy because it'll make the needle skip.
Okay. Back then, I heard too, like when actually putting the record on the needle on the record, you had to be a patient person just to get it where you wanted it to be. If you weren't patient, you were in trouble.
Yes and no.
Okay. Maybe it's because of me. I'm really impatient. I just want to hear the music. That's.
I hear you. It's like, ain't nothing wrong with that.
You like I said, Evil Dee too. We've been trying for this for a while too, so I'm glad we got this actually knocked out too. I asked this question to all my guests at the end of each episode. Now, the reason why I asked this question, it's because no individual can answer this question the same because we're all unique individuals. So, with that being said, there could be a young producer or even a young man out there who really looks up to you, but is kind of in a dark space. So, with that being said, do you have any words for somebody in a dark space trying to see the light?
I would tell them, when it comes to their craft, to be a leader and not a follower, be a creator, not a debater. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you know, do your thing, like, you know, and invest in yourself. Do not wait for a handout. You know what I'm saying? Invest in yourself. And now with technology, it's not as expensive as it was when I was trying to get on. So invest in yourself and do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Because that little investment can change your whole life.
Exactly. Trust me, I know. I invested money in different things and took a gamble, and, it paid off very well.
And now look at you. You're well known. You were kind of flexing earlier. It's like, no Colombia, no Japan. Bro, I never left Canada in my entire life, so I can only imagine going to Japan just to go perform records.
And which part of Canada are you in?
I'm in Calgary, Alberta, so Western Canada.
Yo, I DJ'd out there back in I DJ'd out there so long ago. I think it was like 2003, 2004.
Oh wow, this is when Total Eclipse was out.
And no, you know what? It was before that.
Oh wow, okay.
It was before that. I went out there and DJ'd, and I remember it was a big snowstorm.
Yeah, we're bad for that. Yeah, we're bad. Yeah, one front.
And I was like, when we went to the club, in my mind, I was saying, ain't nobody coming out here to this because it's mad snow, it's crazy. And it was, when we got there, we was the only ones there. Like, they had the sound man just got there. And I was saying to myself, ain't nobody coming out here. It's going to be messed up. And sure enough, when we went out there when I went out there to do the party, that place was so rammed. It was disgusting. In a good way, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But I had a good time out there. And then I was like, damn, like, what happened?
Yeah.
But, technology took, like, one thing I always tell people is technology took the place of a lot of promoters are cheap. They rather get the DJ that's cheap than get the DJ that's experienced.
Yes, like the aux cord DJs as opposed to the actual DJs who actually DJ with, DJ.
Yeah. Like with myself, what I'm doing now is I'm doing two things. Number one, what I'm doing is we are putting together a DJ tour for next year.
Okay.
And definitely trying to do a Canadian leg of the tour this year. Because usually when I come out there to DJ, it's in Toronto or Montreal.
We got to get you out west.
So my whole thing is coming out and just doing a Canadian tour.
Now that would be dope.
You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna put that together. We're gonna get sponsors. We're gonna work it out.
Hey, and if you let me know if you want to come to Calgary, I can maybe help you out with that as well.
Of course.
Also,
we're definitely gonna,
Also, if you smoke weed, I'll give you the finest loud on the house for free, sir.
I don't smoke, but my crew does. So, that's another thing. Even with the Black Moon thing, we're trying to hit up everywhere this time.
Okay. There would actually be dope.
I don't even think we did a joint out there.
No, I don't think Black Moon's ever been to Calgary.
Nope. I know I've been there myself, but not with my crew.
Yeah. I know you guys did something in Toronto not long ago either.
No, actually, we didn't get to go to Toronto because the plane didn't leave. The plane got canceled. The flight got canceled.
Oh, no way. So you guys didn't actually even go into Toronto for that.
Yeah. What happened was there was something going on at LaGuardia Airport with the runways. Okay. And I was updating everybody through my Instagram, and I was like, yo, we still sitting out here. What happened was Black Moon, Smith and Wesson, and Rock This Monster was supposed to be out in Toronto, for the beer festival, and it was us, Public Enemy. It was a whole bunch of us. Rock was leaving from Arizona, so Rock's flight made it to Toronto.
Okay.
Black Moon, Smith and Wesson, he was still sitting in the airport.
Rock's the only one in Toronto.
Yeah. And he tore it down. He came out on stage with Ghostface and Ray.
Oh, well, at least Rock made. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. So, but what we did was, the promoter also knew, because he was watching the flights and everything.
Yeah.
So he kind of knew before we knew what happened. Yo, because I'm going to be honest with you. Me and Phil was eating breakfast. We walked right back to the gate, and everybody had sad faces. And I'm like, yo, what happened? They're like, yo, the flight's delayed. I said, okay, cool, delayed, no problem. Then they got on the thing, they said the flight was canceled. We was like, what? So we tried to go get other tickets to go to, come out there, and everything was booked up.
Damn.
Yep. So I was tight. Yeah. I was mad as hell because I had some plan. I was gonna come out there, and I was gonna just do work while I was out there. Like I had studio sessions set up and everything.
Oh wow! So you weren't just coming there for the show; you were actually coming there to work.
Yeah, and then I had to fly right back because the next day I had a show out here in New York.
Wow. That must be like...
Yeah, but I was so mad.
Well, especially too, like, Ghostface and Ray was there as well. Like, it would have been even more better if Black Moon, Smith and Wesson was there.
Man, listen, it would have been so dope. But, we already planning to come back up there. Like, being that Homeboy paid for everything, we're like, look, we just come up there on our dime and do another show. And the promoter was cool. The promoter was like, we told him he didn't have to pay us, and he still sent us money. So. Oh
wow, that's a real one right there.
Yeah, he was like, yo, it's not your fault. We felt bad because it was like, we don't miss shows.
Yeah, you guys are very professional.
Yeah, we don't miss shows. So to miss a show, yo, that hurts.
Yeah. Especially like when it's in Canada too, you can touch a whole different demographic out here.
Exactly, and it's like I love Canada. I have fun in Canada when I'm in Canada. I have fun. You know what I'm saying? I always find something to do. I always find work. I always go record shopping. All my boys, they get their weed, they do their thing. I'm the record dude. Take me to the record stores.
Oh, you would love to want to hear. Oh my God, you would love to want to hear. There was vinyl like crazy.
Yeah, see? And that's my thing. Like, the whole thing with me is what I want to do is, that's another thing that I'm looking into now too. What I'm getting ready to do is I'm getting ready to put out I'm getting ready to make an Evil Dee instrumental joint.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell MCs, yo, spit your best 16. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an album in the United States with the best MCs on it. That's spit their 16. Then I'm going to do one in Canada. Then I'm going to do one in London. I'm going to do one in Germany. Do one in Switzerland. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Can I all over your production as well, too? That would be crazy.
Yep. And just, put those out and just rock like that.
See, with somebody of your caliber, too, you don't have to do something like that, but you do it for the love of it, too. That's very inspiring to hear.
Exactly. Like, my whole thing is, it's not even a money thing, because, people don't sell records like that.
Yeah.
It's more of a hip-hop thing.
It's more of like giving back to the culture that you love.
Yeah, I come out there. Let's say I make a deal with a record label out there. All the artists, make sure all the artists get their stuff right, so everyone gets paid from the record company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that way, it's fair.
And because they know their business. Because even like with the first album too, you guys learned from that and then went on to make Duck Down successful to this day still.
Yeah.
Like Death Row Records didn't even last that long.
Huh?
Like Death Row Records didn't even last that long, and Duck Down is still here to this day.
Yeah, that's the crazy part, which I tell everybody. I'm like, yo, Bad Boy's gone.
Yeah.
Duck Down is still here. Death Row gone.
All right. Duck Down is here for life.
Yeah.
With you actually being here, I just want to let you know, Evil Dee, we was wondering if we can get a drop from you. Out of everybody, we had MOP, OC, Buckshot. I forgot to Steel Rock. I forgot to ask all of them for a drop. I would be honored if you would be the very first DJ, anyone in general, to do the drop for me.
Sure, I can do a drop for you. That's not a problem.
Just a podcast is titled From the Desk of Low, Evil Dee.
What's it called?
From the Desk of Low.
From the Desk of Low?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You ready for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hey, yo, check this out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, hold up. Oh, no, somebody just sent me something. That's why I said, hold up.
Oh, okay.
All right, here we go. No, here we go. Here, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Hey, yo, check this out. You know what I'm saying? It's DJ Evil Dee representing Black Moon, representing Beat Miners Radio. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of things going on. I'm a Rocksteady crew member. I'm all over the place. You know what I'm saying? But right now, we kicking it from the Desk of Low. Word up. Cold crushing it. That's right.
And with that being said, I think this is the perfect way to end the interview with the one, the only, legendary, my guy DJ Evil Dee.
Yes, yes.
Is there anything you'd like to plug in before I let you go, sir?
Yeah. Y'all can find me on Instagram, Twitter, at DJ Evil Dee. And you can find me on Facebook, DJ Evil Dee Facebook page. My Facebook page is verified.
Oh.
So, you know, it is what it is.
With that being said, it's not a classic episode from Desk Low featuring the one and only DJ Evil Dee.
Hey.
I just stopped the recording, Ken, and I will be putting this interview